This is a video from eSkillZone. For more videos, notes, and certificate, please visit www.eskillzone.com.
The growing importance of endpoint security. What to make of this world driven by technology? Is it a benefit or a problem for society? The truth is, both. While technology is the backbone of greater innovation, growth, and efficiency, it also opens the road to potential security breaches and other types of cyber attacks. On one side of the technology coin, there are highly talented developers working with sophisticated technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning. On the other side of the coin, there are equally talented malicious actors developing technologies to bypass security solutions to gain access to your systems. Not only are attacks and attack methods becoming more sophisticated, the threat landscape is also expanding, and thereby creating greater challenges for security experts. With the growth in value of data to organizations, that same data is now highly valuable to malicious actors, which are causing all industries to become targets and all sizes of organizations to be vulnerable. So, regardless of size or industry base, your organization will eventually be reached by the malicious actor and their sophisticated attack. Next, we will provide some brief insights about endpoint security, its importance to organizations, and common challenges faced in protecting endpoints. What is endpoint security? Endpoint security refers to the practice of securing corporate networks, which are accessible by endpoints or entry points of end-user devices, such as desktops, laptops, and mobile devices, and can be exploited by malicious actors and malicious campaigns. Based on the number of connected endpoints in a corporate network, they are, by default, the weakest technology link in the network. Ensuring sophisticated, robust endpoint security is of the paramount necessity for the organization and the entire network to protect against a successful cyber attack. The motives behind attacks are numerous, such as demanding a ransom for financial gain, agitating political conflict, theft of intellectual property, and many more. Understanding the motives of malicious actors may be pointless, but what is not pointless is understanding that they are determined to gain access and, therefore, will target endpoints with sophisticated attacks and novel malware to gain access. Challenges to endpoint security. As companies hire more and more employees, the number of active endpoint devices increase, and thus, the increase of threat to cyber breaches. Every device that connects to the network further weakens the network's overall security standing. Not to be left out of consideration to the technical challenge of security is the increase in organizational cost to protecting a growing endpoint environment. With the current challenges facing organizations concerning remote workers and the vulnerability of remote endpoints connected to the network, a greater emphasis on endpoint security is coming into view. These remote endpoints are connecting from outside the traditional perimeter of the corporate firewall, and in some regards, missing the benefit of monitoring incoming, and outgoing connections. Although many organizations use virtual private networks, VPN, to ensure network protection, and while they do offer some protection, it is challenging to ensure that remote endpoints are properly configured to use the VPN tunnel. If any of the remote devices go rogue and move out of the protection of the VPN, it reaches a quarantine perimeter with limited and unprotected internet access and will be more vulnerable to attack. Why endpoint security is important. In business, data is the most valuable asset organizations have, and its protection is essential. The protection of data is tantamount to protecting the safety of an organization's employees itself. Consider the case when data is being breached by an unauthorized party. They want access to data to manipulate and use for malicious purposes. There are multiple examples to define the importance of endpoint security, but most importantly, endpoints need to be secured because they present the weak link for networks. Successful breaches and data exfiltration can cost organizations significant monetary setbacks as well as severe reputational damage. According to the IDC, International Data Corporation, findings, 70% of successful breaches originate from the endpoint. IDC data, as well as other organizations, show the importance of endpoint security. With most attacks originating at endpoint devices, without sophisticated endpoint security, endpoints are easy prey. It is thoroughly unnecessary to describe what such an attack can do to an organization, as you know the consequences quite well, the least of which is gaining unauthorized access to your networks. According to a survey led by the Pullman Institute, it was found that the average cost per breach resulting from an attack on endpoints is over £7 million, $9 million, more than twice the average cost of a general data breach. To effectively reduce the cost of a breach, an organization needs to deploy effective endpoint security solutions. To be effective, endpoint security solutions need to be sophisticated in design and thoroughly capable of detecting and blocking advanced and novel malware, as well as exploits. In addition to effective protection, endpoint security solutions need to provide administrators with a deep response capability. Competent endpoint response can only be provided with an advanced endpoint security solution, which offers the most comprehensive EDR, endpoint detection and response, technology. The value and necessity of EDR is the ability to prevent the promulgation of an attack from a breached endpoint and into the network, and to provide automated response actions. EDR tools isolate and mitigate the threat at the point of breach, the endpoint, and allow for endpoint isolation from the larger network. How endpoint protection works. Endpoint security is the practice of safeguarding the data and workflows associated with the individual devices that connect to your network. Endpoint protection platforms, EPP, work by examining files as they enter the network. Modern EPPs harness the power of the cloud to hold an ever-growing database above threat information. Freeing endpoints of the bloat associated with storing all this information locally and the maintenance required to keep these databases up to date. Accessing this data in the cloud also allows for greater speed and scalability. The EPP provides system administrators a centralized console, which is installed on a network gateway or server and allows cybersecurity professionals to control security for each device remotely. The client software is then assigned to each endpoint. It can either be delivered as a SaaS and managed remotely, or it can be installed directly on the device. Once the endpoint has been set up, the client software can push updates to the endpoints when necessary, authenticate login attempts from each device, and administer corporate policies from one location. EPPs secure endpoints through application control, which blocks the use of applications that are unsafe or unauthorized, and through encryption, which helps prevent data loss. When the EPP is set up, it can quickly detect malware and other threats. Some solutions also include an endpoint detection and response (EDR) component. EDR capabilities allow for the detection of more advanced threats, such as polymorphic attacks, fileless malware, and zero-day attacks. By employing continuous monitoring, the EDR solution is able to offer better visibility and a variety of response options. EPP solutions are available in on-premises or cloud-based models. While cloud-based products are more scalable and can more easily integrate with your current architecture, certain regulatory or compliance rules may require on-premises security. Endpoint security components. Typically, endpoint security software will include these key components. No. 1. Machine learning classification to detect zero-day threats in near real time. Number 2. Advanced anti-malware and antivirus protection to protect, detect, and correct malware across multiple endpoint devices and operating systems. Number 3. Proactive web security to ensure safe browsing on the web. Number 4. Data classification and data loss prevention to prevent data loss and exfiltration. Number 5. Integrated firewall to block hostile network attacks. Number 6. Email gateway to block phishing and social engineering attempts targeting your employees. Number 7. Actionable threat forensics to allow administrators to quickly isolate infections. Number 8. Insider threat protection to safeguard against unintentional and malicious actions. Number 9. Centralized endpoint management platform to improve visibility and simplify operations. Number 10. Endpoint, email, and disk encryption to prevent data exfiltration.
This is a video from eSkillZone. For more videos, notes, and certificate, please visit www.eskillzone.com.